All right, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. We're going to start rounding everybody up right now. That sounds like Chris in the truck. Yes, it is. What's going on, buddy?
What up, pal?
All right.
Oh, Rob's on. You gonna bring Rob in?
Yes, I will. All right, stand by, Rob. That's coming over now.
Hey,
There he is.
you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, couldn't hear you.
I'm just trying to pull up our guest right now.
All right.
I should have just stopped by, Rob. I just passed you.
Oh, you should have. What you call it?
All right, hang tight, everybody. 1 second. All right, there we go. I'm going to pull him in.
Sorry, I was just.
Yeah, we lost Rob.
Oh, there
All
you
right.
go.
What's happening, guys?
Brian, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man.
Just hang tight 1 second. We're going to try and get Rob back on here, and we'll be good to go.
Cool.
So we got
All
Chris
right,
in
well,
the
I'm gonna
truck.
pop
He's heading
off,
home from
gentlemen.
work.
There we go.
That's it.
All right. So, Brian, can you hear us, see us? Everything looks good on your end?
Yeah, everything sounds good. You guys hear me good?
Yes, sir. Got you.
That's it.
All right. So, obviously, we're going to let Chris kick it off because he's in the truck heading home from work. So, go ahead, Chris.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Pursuit Live. With me, as always, is my partner in live, Mr. Brain Hopkins. And tonight we got a special guest host, our new program manager, Rob Hommel.
What's up, everybody?
And we have a special guest from United Bowhunters of New Jersey, Mr. Brain Hopkins. Thanks for joining us, Brian. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here.
All right.
All right. With that,
So,
I'm
producer
gonna turn it
Chris.
over to you fellas, and
Yes,
you have a
producer
good,
Chris.
show.
Yes, either turn your mic off or do something about that. We got a bad back feed.
All right. I'll catch you guys in a little bit.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Good to see you. All
right.
Well, it wouldn't be a show without producer Chris. I had to make sure we got him on. So it's a little tough while you're driving. You get a bad back feed like that. So the three of us, we're going to take it on from here. So, Brian, again, thank you for joining us. Rob, what's going on, buddy? I just want to start this off. We got another episode of Pursuit Live, like Chris kind of introed that. And for all the new followers that are tuning in, we've noticed that a lot of new people are joining us weekly. That's great. We appreciate that. So basically what this is, if you haven't seen it before, this is Instagram Live. It's basically a live podcast. You interact virtually like this. And then as you see at the bottom, you got a lot of comments going. So if you're new to it, at any point, if you got a question, feel free to type it in. And then, either somebody in the chat there will answer you, or we're going to have a whole Q&A section later on in the show. So this is it. This is Pursuit Live. Brian's our guest tonight, and he's from United Bowhunters in New Jersey. So, Brian, what we like to do in the beginning is we like to actually, get that background of our guest. Not so much, we'll talk about UBNJ in a little bit. Let's talk about you, though. What do you do for your everyday work? Who are you? How'd you get in the woods? Things like that.
Yeah, sure. So, for a day job, I'm an audio and visual engineer for a company out of Newtown, PA. But I mean, for me, I started young. My dad was a hunter, and I lived originally from upstate New York, or northern New York. I like to say. When I worked in the city, I used to say upstate New York, and people were like White Plains, and I'm like, no.
I gotta go a little further than that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so small town in between Saratoga Springs and Lake George is where I'm originally from. But like I said, I mean, my dad was a hunter, grandfather was a hunter. And so even from a really young age, I was going out and it was rifle hunting, I wasn't into bow yet. But yeah, I would just go out and just follow in his footsteps, figuring out what hunting was and stuff. And once I got my hunting license and stuff, he'd stick me with a rifle, and I'd try not to fall asleep under a tree
Hmm.
somewhere early in the morning.
I tell you what, there's
Meant,
nothing better than that sometimes, man. If you need a nap,
no.
that's a good time to get it.
Yeah. I do remember one time being in the woods and just being dog tired. I was, I don't know, maybe 16 or so, and I fell asleep hard underneath the tree, right up against a log or whatever. And I woke up to my dad just kicking me in the boots. He's like, "Did you see the big one? Did you see it?" And I'm like,
That's
but
funny.
yeah, it was awesome, and I had wanted a bow for a long time, didn't know anything about it, anything about archery or anything. And for Christmas one year, my folks got me one, a little youth Browning, I think it was, and I shot the strings off of that thing, man. Every single day I shot that thing, and I took a long break afterwards. But there's a funny story my folks always tell of me shooting in the front yard. We had, like, quite a bit of acreage, so I had a large front yard, and I'm shooting into a hay bale and stuff. And Dad's driving up, and he's like, all of a sudden I see an arrow come flying out of the woods.
Oh,
Well, our yard
no.
was flat. Our yard was flat, and then it dipped down to where a creek was. Well, I was running out of space shooting and hitting the pie plate or whatever. So I just started backing up until I could just barely see the bank, and then whoo, airing one out into it and stuff. But
That's
yeah,
great.
it was so much fun, man. And it was a great life. I lived in the woods when I was a kid. I mean, we did everything we could. It was if it wasn't hunting, we were, manhunt. Anytime we could put
Yeah.
camo on and go hide from people, it was great.
I mean,
It
and you
sounds
could
so
tell,
much.
right? You could tell right there how genuine it is. Like you were able to just rattle off these stories. You're laughing about
Yeah.
it. It's that instant connection. I know it's something that comes up a lot. Not just on this show, but any outdoor podcast. Let's say there's such a connection when it grabs a hold of you.
Hmm.
Doesn't necessarily grab onto everybody the same way, but if it really grabs you, whether it's hunting or fishing,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
it's hard to shake it, man. But you know what? That's why not enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was always just like, that peaceful spot. I mean, even as a kid, if I wasn't hunting in the summertime or anything like that, like I said, we had a creek that ran through our property. So I was down there fishing or netting things or doing whatever I could, or, frog hunting, whatever. And I'm a big fly fisherman also. So once I
Okay.
got into that, it was just like, peace on earth, man. I was finding myself out in the river and leaving the phone in the truck type of thing.
Nice. God, honestly, I feel like I'm listening to myself talk right now.
It
Like I
is. It
can't even
is
tell
true.
you
Yeah.
all these stories. The falling asleep while you were out hunting with your dad. I think the best sleep I ever had was just probably 2 feet in snow, and I literally just laid back, and it was the most comfortable I think I had ever been,
Yeah.
and just passed out so hard. And then, like you said, my dad kicked me in the foot, like, "You ready to go?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? I didn't even know what time it was,
Yeah.
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 But everything that you're saying, I feel like, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'll attest that. But when me and Rob really pretty much, I mean, I guess last year, Rob, right? We actually started talking a lot more, really, interacting a lot more, and that without a doubt, Rob's true passion, just like yourself, Brian. It's
Hmm.
any conversation, no matter what we were talking about, we always brought it right back to the woods, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys we could talk outdoors, woods, hunting, anything like that all day long. So you're in good company. So it's not just
No,
yourself. I mean,
no,
we're
we're
in good
good.
company here with it.
That's awesome.
So in the beginning here, I have a couple of questions. Like I said, we have a little bit of dialogue, and then we're going to switch gears, and then Rob's going to host for the second part of the show. So I like to dive into more like the mentality of the guest as like a hunter or a fisherman. So for yourself with the hunting, what's one early successful hunt that you could think of, or what's one hunt where maybe it didn't go as planned, but you know what, you learned something so critical for the future where even though it wasn't a success, in a way it was because you learned something that critical that helps you in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Like I said, early on hunting, it was with a rifle, and, being out with my dad, and, seeing him be successful quite often. And, where we grew up, we rarely hunted in the afternoon. It was always early morning stuff, and wake up at the crack of dawn, get out there, sit. Sometimes there were drives happening where you'd have a couple people, walk through an area. But for me, one of the I guess I guess it's a success slash failure was I remember being out and um, it was I decided that I was going to go out in the afternoon. First time ever doing it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out. I know where the deer are going to kind of walk in. So I got my head face and I was so fixated. Like, I know the deer are going to come through this way. And sitting there. And then now I hear a crack like this. I turn and there's three small does just staring at me at like 10 yards. And I'm like, oh man. And now I'm completely turned. Everything's this way. So I'm like trying to slowly turn, man. And of course I spook them. And, so for one of the big learning early on experiences was, keep your head on a swivel, you're never
Yeah.
100% sure
Okay.
where they're going to come out of no matter what.
It truly is
So that was,
amazing how stealthy they are, just naturally being themselves.
yeah,
It's if
yeah,
you, chances are if you don't see them coming, you're gonna have a rough sit.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really. That's why I always remember my dad telling me, it's like you're not gonna hear them coming. If you don't see them
yeah,
coming, you're gonna get busted.
yeah. Yeah, and for the woods that we hunted was hardly ever like hardwoods of like leafy ground or anything. It was all tall, big pines and stuff. So
Right.
you never heard them ever coming in.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were so many times, even when I was trying to do the whole stalk thing, you're never as quiet as a deer and they hear way better, right? So I remember going through the woods and like, just poof, hearing that flag go off and everything, them snort. And I'm like, man, I did it again,
Yep.
and constantly pushing them and constantly trying to find it and bumping them again. And like, that whole thing of learning that. But yeah, a big success for me was, once I got out with my bow, it was another afternoon. This is after I moved away from upstate New York and I went up there. I always got tags for New York just because, every year I would try to make it a weekend or a week to go up there and hunt. And I got up there. Dad kind of knew the deer were coming in late afternoon into the evening time. And I sat there for a long time and I had been pretty good with my bow, practicing a lot. So I don't know, maybe four does came in, and he had set up like a makeshift blind. He had a sawmill, so we had all the cutoffs from the sawmill, so we kind of stood them all up, and it worked great for camo.
Perfect.
Had little notches in it, so you could draw. And so I was sitting behind that, and these deer came out, and I'm trying to range them, and I'm getting all these types of weird readings and stuff on it. And I'm like, I think it's like 45 yards. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. Drew back, made a good connection, and like instantly, like got on the phone. Dad was already in binoculars in the kitchen window, right? He's looking out, and he sees it happen. And I'm like, I got one. This is my first bow kill, right? So I'm stoked. I can't even stand still.
No.
And so I immediately want to jump up. He's like, relax, and all that stuff. I mean, it's not stuff that I didn't know, but man, I was too excited. I had to go see.
Yeah.
And we get our lights out and everything, find the blood, and she had expired, I don't know, maybe 45 yards away. Just easy dump. It's perfect shot, everything. And a really funny story is I'm jacked up, right? I feel great. And so we get through, I get field dressed as a deer, and you get a little dirty. And Dad's like, he goes to give me a pat on the shoulder, like, hey, good job. Well, I give him like the biggest high five. It's like, he's like, oh man.
Yeah. It's like a Netflix documentary, leaving the words. Yeah. Yeah. That is something we haven't talked about, how ugly maybe all of our first field dressing was. I'm sure a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
us hit the cuts, or
Yeah.
who knows, I'm sure a couple of guys have lost a lot of meat in the process without
God,
it.
Yeah.
not just that. I almost passed out because I stopped breathing.
Oh, right.
Seeing this thing coming, I was getting so excited. I just stopped breathing, and I drew, and I'm like, yeah.
Very cool. I mean, I love it. I mean, I love the energy that you have, Brian. Like I said, it really is. We relate to it. I'll speak for Rob. And if Chris is here, he'd be the same way. And I love it, man. So I love this episode already. So again, thank you for joining us. This is literally what it's all about. We try very hard Well, we don't try very hard at anything. We keep this very laid back. I think you can tell, but
Oh yeah.
we have a serious passion. We're keeping the outdoor spirit alive. We don't care if you hunt, you fish, you camp, you hike, whatever it is. But people that enjoy it, doing it the right way, sending that right message, and you're 100%. You're fitting the bill perfectly. So I love it. Um, One thing this is a funny question. Sometimes we get a serious answer, or sometimes we get some oddball answers. Do you have any pre-hunt ritual that you do, like anything that's superstitious, anything like that?
Um, Not too
Okay.
much. Um, I will say I don't know if it's a ritual or it's just like a something that just uh, I guess naturally comes to me.
Hmm.
Um, I never get like the real adrenaline dump when I draw back on a deer or anything. I almost get that tunnel vision, and when I get into the woods, it's almost like my ears or my eyes shut off and my ears turn on,
Okay.
that type of thing, where you're just sitting there and you're not looking for move or you're not looking for deer, right? You just see movement, and like that's where all of a sudden like something will happen way off in the corner of your eye and you'll just kind of like turn. I don't know if that's a ritual or even if I answer your question, but for me, it's just I get so in tune to exactly what's happening around me. No, I don't do I don't wear the same socks or put put a different hat on. There's no
We've had some
special
pretty
hat, man.
funny answers. That's why we
Yeah,
kept it in that category. We're going to rotate
yeah,
these in probably another episode or two. But like I said, we've had some very serious ones, like maybe
yeah,
like a prayer card. Somebody's
hmm,
prayer card always in the vest pocket. Obviously,
yeah,
that's very sentimental, and there was a story that goes along with it. We've had some really cool interactions. Like in this, that's why we like talking to you as a person. Like, all right, obviously we're bringing you on for another reason, but we want everybody to know like who you are in your day-to-day life, like
yeah,
what drives you and what motivates you daily, and then like this is your release, this is your like your sanctuary. So it is fun when we're able to connect the dots the way we do it. So um what quality do you possess, like just as you are as a person, really helps you or aids in your success as a hunter, if you had to pick one?
yeah. I step into the woods with confidence. I never go in um, thinking that I'm gonna, you know, fail at anything. I mean, that's just a general life for me. I mean, a big motto of mine is how you do anything is how you do everything. So
Amen.
I go in with 100%
I like that.
confidence, and when
Yeah.
I go into the woods the same way, man. If I'm going up the tree, I'm gonna sit there, and in my mind, deer are coming out no matter what. If they don't, there's always tomorrow. That type of thing. But like I said, I mean, confidence is key here. You don't draw your bow back unless you're confident. With the shot, all of that type of stuff. So like I said, I mean, it's confidence for me always.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
really think with archery, well, it's anything. Even with
Yeah.
rifle or shotgun hunt, you want to feel confident in your gear. You want to feel confident in your capabilities. But I really think there's something with archery where I'll say there's just some mornings you're just walking out there, you're like, man, I feel freaking deadly right now.
Yeah.
Like whether it's you're in the right spot, the wind's right,
Yeah.
you actually got out there early, you're not scrambling, all your gear's ready, like everything's going smooth, and without a doubt, like
Yeah.
why not have that confidence? Or you should be aiming to get that confidence walking in. If you're walking into your spot kind of like half-assed, almost like, well, I hope this works. Like, well, maybe after that sit, you got to take a step back and maybe like, well, why aren't I expecting to see deer, or why aren't I expecting to have a good set right now? So,
Yeah.
that's why hunting is so humbling. You got nobody to blame but yourself. Yeah, it is a little luck factor, but at the end of the day, you're making the decisions.
Yeah.
So it's all on you.
Yeah. I
And I
mean,
think
and
that's why I think that either makes or breaks a lot of guys, to be
yeah.
honest. But that's where the true love of it. That's where you get those guys where no matter what, like myself, for example, I sat 50 times that season. That's not necessarily ideal, but yes, do I love hunting and
Yeah.
archery hunting that much, and I want to grow as a hunter? Absolutely, but I was also sitting that much because I didn't fill all my tags yet.
Yeah.
So that without a doubt, as a natural progression as a hunter, you want to be just more. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want to have to sit 50 times. Shit, if you can get it done in maybe 10 or 12 sits, rock and roll. And there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're holding out for a tag or you have tags in your pocket, you're holding out for that $1 or whatever, sit as many times as you can, until that confidence shot comes. And to your point, I guess it's a unpopular, now, but I don't really hunt with cell cameras or anything like that, because that adds to that not being confident. Like, you're getting dings off of your other camera where you're sitting somewhere else, and you're like, man, did I make it? Did I make a mistake? Did I do that? You know, all of those things start getting in your brain, and then all of a sudden that deer comes out, and now you're like, you're not 100%, you're not 110 on it, and you might make a great shot. That's good, but leading up to that, you're second guessing yourself the whole time.
I think Dave knows
Right.
a lot about that.
Well, I caught myself second guessing myself. You know, so basically, Brian, real quick, my backstory: fully on public land. Let's say for the past 2 years. Before that, I did have some private access, but it was small. Like here on Long Island, it was very small. So I really cut my teeth on, 3 to 5 acres. Let's say, bouncing around. Really, that's just how I learned how to hunt. And then, the past 2 seasons, really, it was humbling. Without a doubt, I've been putting the time in, putting the scout in, and I've been putting the best effort I can with the means that I have into it. And, I caught myself, like you said, sometimes these cell cameras, I was doubting myself as a hunter. I've been hunting for a long time. I still got plenty of room on the wall, don't get me wrong, but I spend a lot of time in the woods.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just gotta trust that gut action and just look down. Like if your body's telling you this deer here, you got fresh sign, you got fresh tracks, whatever it may be, who cares what that camera's doing over there? Hunt where the deer are. Don't worry about where you want them to be, and that's something without a doubt. And Rob is very good at it, and Chris, the three of us obviously we're always texting, and it's like, bro, will you stop scouting and start hunting? Like, just sit, pick one of those two spots and just sit. And I'm like, yeah, you guys are right. I probably should. So, and that's was that what you were talking about, Rob?
Yeah.
That'll change next year. Don't you worry.
Listen, I know I'm gonna have some stuff coming towards me someday. Probably in the near future too.
I got you. All right, so I got one more question for you, Brian, and then we're gonna flip the script a little bit, and then we're gonna dive into the next part of the show.
Yeah.
After a successful hunt, who's your first phone call or message?
So first one, normally while I'm still in the stand, I text my wife, got one, I'm climbing out. Just as a safety precaution, I'm getting out of the tree. Things are, she knows where I am. That works. Once I recover the deer, I do the long drag. I'm a big hiker into the woods. I go as far as I possibly can. I'm also a public land hunter, so I get out there away from as many people as I can and do it. So for me, once I get the deer back to my truck and everything, it's always Dad. I still have him in my life. He's a big hunter, so it's always him. Tell him, and of course the whole story. How the deer came in, the whole thing happened. So those are the two mains that I have. I have a couple of brothers. They don't hunt. I still text them like, hey, got one. Another one down. That type of thing. And they're supportive as hell. So but yeah, the first phone call is definitely to Dad once I get back in the truck.
I love it. That's that's probably one of the most popular answers. Obviously, anybody that's lucky enough or fortunate enough to still have, their father kicking around, it was either that or normally like the first person that got him in the woods, like a close uncle or a family friend. And I mean, why not? All these emotions, we're all big, bad, tough men here. It's all right. But that emotional overload that you get, without a doubt, that post shot emotion dump, besides professional sports or something at a high caliber like that, I don't think anything comes near it.
Yeah.
Especially with art.
I mean, and when we think about it, when we think about hunting, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is family, right? So those two things are hand in hand. The reason why we get into hunting is normally because of a family member. It doesn't have to be a father. It doesn't have to be any of that, but whoever you think of as family that gets you into hunting in the first place, So when we get that initial kill, it's always, like you said, it's either a father or somebody that introed you into it, because it's a respect thing of, you taught me this. Right. So this, I got it done type of thing,
I'm catching myself a little bit more further down the line. Wow, her ears must have been ringing. She just joined, during the season, even that grind. And you think about the sacrifices that your family and your friends make, whether it's the wife or the girlfriend or the boyfriend, the husband, your family, your immediate friend group, it's those tertiary things where it's like you do have a support system. It's always there, but you gotta make sure to reach out to them, be like, hey, look, I know I've been around a lot. I appreciate you guys. Whatever it is, like that does go a long way. I need to get better at that myself. I will say that, especially in the home life. I do get obsessed with it, but you know, realize those that are sacrificing so you can enjoy what you love to do. Now that is one thing we are. I want to talk. I'm going to touch on that right before the season. I think do a whole episode on that because it's true. You know, me
Yeah.
and my wife, we don't have kids yet, but I mean, Rob, you could touch on that. It's a serious aspect where we're fortunate enough to be with the ones, you know, most of us where it's they understand it. It might be frustrating at times, but it's a commitment in the whole household. Let's say.
Absolutely. And
So when you're
Brian,
actually able to go out and produce, it kind of takes the heat
oh,
off a
absolutely.
little bit.
And Brian, you hit the nail on the absolute head. You know, talking about family. You know, being able to put the food on the table. You know, being able to support your family. It feels good to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
No.
important.
Yeah. I mean, I have a wife. I have a 3-year-old, and another one on the way in like 5 days. We'll
Congratulations.
say. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so for me, it was this past season was hard. I mean, my wife is pregnant, and having a 3-year-old is feral as ever, running around the place. So this year I didn't get out as much as I wanted to, and I completely was okay with that. My wife, when I did go out, was down with it. She was like, just go out there, get it. We had made a plan leading up to this. I mean, I'm sure all of us have been hit by the whole grocery bill, like not being under $180, no matter what you get out of it. And so, we made the decision that we are no longer going to buy beef out of the store. Everything's going to be venison, no matter what.
Nice.
And so I made it a plan that I was going to go out and harvest as many deer as I could and stock this freezer full, and what I couldn't, we had friends in the same boat. So I'm like, well, I'll pay for the deer to get butchered and everything like that. You guys just take the deer, So we did as much as we could in that way, which was great. I mean, and today my freezer's full, and we have not gone to the grocery store to get ground beef at all.
Good.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, we joke about it. I haven't heard of a recall on venison, so
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of nasty disease, especially us up here in the Northeast, the EHD, the blue tongue, and well, it seems like every year there's something else coming out. But overall, though, without a doubt, it's some of the best eating you can get. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we got a lot of viewers right now, a lot of familiar names. But if anybody's new to this, this is Pursuit Live. We're about halfway through our episode tonight with Brian Hopkins from United Bowhunters in New Jersey. We got co-host tonight, Rob. It's probably one of his first times actually being the co-host. So we're actually about to flip gears now. So that was the intro for Brian. And now Rob's going to take over and actually talk about United Bowhunters in New Jersey. One of the main reasons we got Brian on, and we really want to dive into it. Bring some exposure to it because it might be a little deceiving. They hear the title and maybe like, oh, well, I don't live in New Jersey or I don't hunt New Jersey. And I'm going to tell you right now, myself, I'm very interested in a certain aspect of this. And when we get to it, I actually have a couple of questions myself. So at this point, Rob and Brian, you guys can take it away. It's all yours, Rob.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to apologize for these huge bags under my eyes. I actually haven't slept in a couple of days. Just work. Work's been hectic. But either way, Brian, once again, like Dave said, thanks for coming on. This is something that I've actually been wanting to do for a while now. I've been a member of UBNJ for quite a few years now, and it's just the benefits of being a part of that organization that you don't get anywhere else. I don't know of any other organizations that offer what UBNJ does all across the United States and into Canada. So if anybody doesn't know, Brian, you are the vice president of UBNJ.
Yes.
So tell us, if you can, why somebody would want to join UBNJ and what you guys have to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we'll start with a little backstory. UBNJ was started in 1974, so we're actually celebrating our 50th year anniversary this year. Super huge for us. It's countless hours of all volunteers. This entire organization, which it is a state organization. We aren't a hunting club. We're not anything else like that. We represent bow hunters and hunters in general. I mean, we give back to muzzle loaders, to shotguns, anything around the state here. Anything that we can be a part of, that we can help grow the heritage of hunting, is where we want to be. So like I said, we started 50 years ago. the anti-hunting world was really on the case of trying to outlaw hunting in general. A couple of bans where they tried to ban bow hunting. When that didn't work, they then realized if they can't get the sport banned, then they're going to ban any implements that are necessary to engage in hunting. So they went after broadheads, and so UBNJ again was a voice for the hunters. Went to Trenton with the help of multiple others. This isn't a sole thing that we did. So we brought in the federation, stuff like that, and we were able to get that bill shut down. So bow hunting, broadheads. I mean, we all know that without broadheads, there is no bow hunting, and I mean we're seeing that now, right? In New Jersey, where they outlaw 50 calibers. Well, that just killed what, 3/4 of muzzle loaders, right? That's all that they shoot are 50 caliber.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that happen now. So the threat is always there. The threat to our livelihoods, our sport, say, is always there, and we're always gonna be that voice for the hunter in general. We call ourselves United Bowhunters, but we are a hunting family here. So we do everything we can to keep the hunting alive. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, for members, it's a $35 for the year. I'm not an insurance guy, so I can't tell you the ins and outs of everything that the insurance is, but it's a $5 million liability insurance, and that covers you across the United States with archery or gun, anything, and into Canada. So the liability means it's not health insurance, right? If you fall and break your leg, you're not using the insurance. But like all of a sudden, a rogue arrow, God forbid, happens, strikes a barn or something, instead of that coming out of your pocket, where that can be on the liability side. Again, I'm not a pro. I have to throw that disclaimer out. So,
Nah, that's fine. That's fine.
but so that's one aspect. That's a huge aspect. And for $35 a month, if you're going to go and hunt on a farmer's property, you're going to go and get into the state or something like that, to show that you're an insured hunter, that if any damage were to happen to their property, they're covered, is a massive upgrade to just being a hunter knocking on doors saying, hey, can I hunt here, that type of thing. Other program, we have tons of programs, but with the membership, that's a huge one. Our members are also eligible for different deer management programs that we have throughout the state. So that is, we're adding towns as we speak. I mean, we're in talks with multiple towns in North Jersey to try to get into there. And these are deer management things. So we have kind of set rules, but the owners or the stewards of that property can kind of give us their own rules. If there's certain days that you can hunt, then there's certain days that they want you to hunt. That's fine. You're getting premier hunting spots, basically private, for only members, and they're only set for a certain amount of number of hunters. So it's not going to be overpopulated with hunters, that type of thing. The other great thing, and I'm really proud of this. I have on the personal side, I have a podcast, so I brought on my co-host to do our magazine for UBNJ, and it is awesome. I will say, the whole thing, it's filled with great success stories. It talks about the events that we hold, an entire sheet of recipes, and then what's really fun is that we put together a kids page. So the thing is, like, we're all trying to get our sons, our daughters into hunting in general. Well, like, what's better than just slapping a magazine down about success stories and seeing the pictures and seeing all that stuff? And oh yeah, here's a page
Is
for
it?
you to deal.
Yeah,
That's the older one.
yeah,
We'll
it's
get
an
you a
older
new
one, but yeah, it's the only one
yeah.
I got.
yeah,
I
yeah, we'll
tried.
get you a new one. And so the games that are in it, and then we always throw in like safety tips for kids, like what to do with an arrow, when to nock an arrow, when it's okay to shoot, that type of stuff. So in general, I mean, the membership is minimal cost for like maximum what you're getting out of it.
You guys also do a lot with the youth mentor hunts, and that's also something that's, I really haven't seen anywhere else.
Yeah. So, a along the lines of family and getting people into it, what we're seeing now is that, and youth is one component to it. You know, there's women now that are starting to get into hunting. And then there's also, we're seeing guys, you know, in their 20s, into, you know, through their 30s that didn't have a dad that grew up. But bow hunting in general across the country is growing everywhere. So people want to learn how to shoot a bow, and then the next step is they're going out, they're doing these 3D shows, and then all of a sudden they're kind of looking at their dinner plate, be like, you know what, I'd like to know what this is now. So they get into hunting. We offer that little bit of education of far as, you know, you guys know when you go and take your hunting license, you don't learn to hunt in that. You don't. You basically get a hunting license. You learn safety out of that, but you don't know how to hunt.
Yeah.
And so these mentor programs are allowing, you know, seasoned hunters to dedicate their time and everything to both the youth, the women, and anybody else that wants to learn how to hunt. And we do a half a day of just like educational. So, you know, you learn how to, you know, you learn shot placement, you learn, you know, what's a good tree to hang a tree stand in, you know, that type of thing, what to look for sign, what to scrape, after the shot, how to trail, that type of stuff. And when I've been on a handful of the youth mentor hunts, and I've shot enough deer in my life that when you see a kid, you know, put the time in, you know, they did it on their own where they went online, they did all the worksheet stuff. And then the day of the hunt, we bring in Fish and Wildlife to you know, finish off the shooting part of their test. So they get their license that day. They come back, we take them out into the woods, and when you watch that you know, that kid take a shot, perfect shot on a deer or whatever, I almost took the ground stand off the ground. I jumped so goddamn high. I was so happy, man. I was slapping him on the back and everything. And then once we get out, we track the deer, found it, and then we leave it up to them. You know, how much do you want to be into this? Do you want to learn how to field dress? Do you want us to just to show you how it's done? You know, that type of thing. And it's all at the having a brain fart, but all what the kid wants to experience out of it. You know, it's never like we're making them do anything. If they want to see how to do it, if they don't even want to take a shot at the deer. I had one kid that came in, and I was more proud of him that he decided not to take the shot rather than if he did, you know, because I mean, how good is that out of a kid that like isn't just trying to get the kill just so he could say that he shot a deer, but also that he saw the deer, and I'm like, that's a good deer. And I was like, it's up to you if you want to. He's like, I'm gonna wait, see if anything else comes in. And you know, that's part of the learning curve. Sometimes they don't come back in. Sometimes that deer turns away, and that's the rest of your hunt, you know. And so it was cool. I've seen both. I've seen successful. I've seen not successful. I've seen, you know, kids that want to talk and just look through binoculars all day, and that's also cool, you know. So yeah, the mentor hunts are amazing. I mean, it is a humbling experience, and you learn so much. Being a mentor, how you talk to, you know, shot placement out, all of that stuff is super cool.
That's
Without
awesome.
being too drastic or maybe dramatic about it, you could literally steer, you know, a young kid's life for the better. You know, you don't
Yeah,
know what their home life is like. They could be having the worst week of their life. Parents just got divorced, worse, whatever. You don't know.
yeah,
And maybe just you or somebody from your organization, literally just getting them out in the woods, getting them out in peace and quiet, looking through the binoculars, you very well could change the course of them for the better. So again, that's a very extreme scenario, but I would
yeah,
almost bet something similar along that lines has happened.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and
We
why
we had
not?
we had
Again, if we
we
can
had a
get more people involved, hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, just like what we're doing here tonight, uh,
mhm,
we need it. We need it because if
yeah,
there's a world without hunting or fishing or anything like that, outdoor activities, I want no part of it because that's a sad world to live in,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and aside from just the hunts, you know, we put together these 3D shoots, and
Yep.
you know, if you've never been to a 3D shoot, or you don't, you know, don't think about it, or you know, scared to join or and go see what it's all about, they're amazing. I mean, it's like golf with a bow, right?
That's
So
the way to put it.
you get to
Yeah.
go you know, you get to go hiking through the woods. Um, you get experience to different angles and stuff that would take you years in the field to be able to see. So in an afternoon, you're experiencing multiple shots. You're experiencing camaraderie like you've never seen. There, camaraderie in the way of like, there may be some ball breaking, but like, how much fun is that? It's amazing when you're in that type of a group, and you just get better, right? The more times you draw that bow back, the better you're going to be. So these 3D shoots, they don't only boost our membership, but we're also trying to support all of the local archery clubs that are around the state. So going from the north all the way down to the south. Last year was a little hard for us, but this year we're getting back to that. We're getting back to, getting a hold of all of these archery clubs, getting out, spreading our name, spreading their name in their local area, that this is a club that is a great spot for local archers to come and shoot their bow. You don't always have to just be in the backyard hitting a bag. Come out, experience what's going on. There's always great food, which is always a plus. So, for me, I love the 3D shoots, for the only reason you can shoot for score. I normally don't even grab a scorecard, because in my brain, I'm just like, sometimes the targets are just set up a little weird, right? And I'm like, I'm aiming at that rear shoulder,
Right.
no matter what,
Exactly.
and it might hit an 8 or it might hit a 5, but for me, I'm just drawing my bow back. I'm having a great time outside. So
I love it. Rob, do you have anything else you want to go into Q&A, or did you have a couple more topics you want to touch on?
So I just wanted to tell a quick story.
Yeah.
I've now been hunting for a while. A lot of my hunting is done private property. It's finding those small parcels. It's knocking on doors and everything else like that. I've been doing that for years. This past year was actually the very first time somebody ever asked me for my insurance. And I remember thinking to myself, who the hell were you talking to? Like, how do you even know about this? And I said, my response was, absolutely, I'll get it. And then I called up Miss Lorraine, and, she emailed me the information and I passed it on, and it was one of those things that I was like, this is nice, where I would have lost this spot if I didn't have it, and I ended up taking a really nice 8-point out of there, and it was just something that I really didn't think about because I never had to before. And then this year was literally, it blew me away, so, that's just a small story for me. So Squatch, you asked before, if that goes into New York, the insurance covers all of the United States and up into Canada. So it's not just specifically for New Jersey. And that's, just another benefit of, why people should join, UBNJ.
Yeah. And it's not just archery, right? That's another huge thing.
Exactly.
It could be with a rifle, shotgun, whatever you want to use as your means of take. So it can be anything, which is also a huge benefit,
I do want to piggyback on what Rob just said. So, Brian, the skinny version of Urban Pursuit, basically about 2 years ago, I really wanted to take a more formalized approach, a more business approach to door knocking. Unfortunately, here on the island, some guys obviously don't door knock at all. They just hop in the woods. There's a lot of deer management crews already on the island, and they're well established, and they're great because they handle more of like a nuisance permit aspect of it. I really wanted to be able to, let's say, if I could add 2 or 3 properties a season where it's like, I get that phone call, Dave, I got the herd of does coming through. They're eating all my bushes. They're eating all the hosta plants. My garden's a mess. All right. So what I've been doing is I've been really trying to take it to the next step. Like I don't come straight out of the woods all dirty and camoed up. No, I got my nice Urban Pursuit polo shirt on. I got my binder. Rob and Chris saw it. I actually got one of the properties because I have this binder and it's got all these printed out sheets with all the rules and regulations, frequently asked questions. I show them different types of ticks that are in the area. I show them what the deer do as far as, ideally I'll walk them up to a tree and be like, look, this is from the bucks rubbing their antlers on it during the rut. These are hosta plants. It's basically candy for deer. That's why they're all eaten down. Your garden's a mess and nothing left because they're eating. So one thing that I was lacking, even though I took it as far as I could with formalizing everything, business cards, a website, like really, and I've had success. One thing I've been missing was the insurance aspect. You can't do anything. You look at any contractor truck, what does it say on the side? Licensed and insured.
Yeah.
You can't do anything without being licensed and insured. So if you have a valid hunting license, well, to me, yeah, I'm licensed 100%. This, when Rob told me about it, I'm like, this is the key. This is the one thing I've been missing for my door knock approach. Because now when I slap this on the back of my business card, licensed and insured, I'm a solo hunter. It's archery or hunting only. This very well could open up a few more doors for myself. So to put a personal touch on it, this is why I was very excited to hear about it. And you guys, I think, have a lifetime member coming your way very shortly.
There we go. There we
Especially
go.
with
Yeah, we
where I'm going
appreciate
to
it.
be hunting. Like, obviously, I have my public land spots, and I do most of my hunting there, but it's when we get to, let's say, it's a 2 acre piece, a 3 acre piece with these homeowners. And what I want is basically to, like, take over a cul-de-sac from word of mouth. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
You know, and then if I could actually put the way I spin it is if I could put my love of archery hunting to a good use, help out the landowners. I butcher the deer myself. If they want some deer in return, venison,
Yeah.
by all means. You want a
Yeah.
back shop, 2 back shops, whatever you want. I'll bring you a bottle of wine. If you're giving me permission to hunt,
Yeah.
I'll bring you pretty much whatever you
Yeah.
want. You let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I am
Yeah.
very appreciative of what you guys have going on. It's very smart. It's very forward thinking. I know you guys have been established for a while, but I just found out about it. So it's very interesting. Anybody that does suburban hunting, especially, I would really recommend, obviously follow along any, we're going to talk about this, any Instagram or social media that you guys have, but we're going to work on getting more of these applications out, maybe document them a little bit more. So I want you guys to grow, because I really think it's just going to grow more positive encounters with homeowners, and that's key. Even if they don't give you permission, at least it's a positive interaction. It's not this violent, negative interaction, which is, we can't have that anymore.
No.
um,
And in the world where everybody has a cell phone, right? That's all you see is the negative side of it. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? You don't get to see the personal, where it actually has came back. And when you're working with a landowner and you're asking them, like, what's the problem? I can help you with it. Tell me what you want out of here. The worst thing that you could do is get access to a property, and then they tell you, I only want you to kill the does here. Okay. And
Yep.
then all of a sudden you see a huge 10 come in, and you stop killing does because you saw that doe, or that you saw that buck, and it's like, that's not what you were there for. You got the okay to go onto this property,
Yeah.
to take the doe out, to manage the deer, to manage the herd. Do that, make it a positive interaction,
Yes.
so that the next year, if all of a sudden they say, hey, I know that you're a hunter, there's a big buck out there. You might have the opportunity to take that buck. If you don't,
Right.
you're still managing the herd.
Yeah.
And that's where the positive interactions come from.
You want to establish. I look at it as, and I use the verbiage of, I want to establish a relationship. I don't. I'm not thinking this year, next year. I'm thinking 10 years from now, when we're still interacting with. Now we're friends. Like my father, myself, and my brother, we hunted a property literally where I grew up bow hunting on for like 15 years. Unfortunately, there was a death in the family, and that's the reason. Whatever, we lost access to that property. But it was like, wow, like that was a true relationship we have with that whole family. Like, and that's what I want to build. I don't want it just to be like, maybe this season, and then next season they say no, like it's just that long-term lasting relationship. Like I said, word of mouth with this goes a long way. It can either really help you or it'll hurt you.
Yeah.
So you really only get one chance to make that first impression. So having this in the arsenal 100% is going to go right in my door knocking binder, and I think it's going to look good.
absolutely. Yeah, we were just at the Empire State Outdoor Show,
Yep.
and I was passing some stuff out for UB&J, and we actually had somebody come up and was asking about the insurance. And I was fortunate enough to be able to call John, right then and there, the president of UB&J, and basically he and Miss Lorraine completely broke it down and basically said, you're on somebody's property, you back into their gate, it's taken care of. God forbid that Aaron arrow goes through somebody's window or car, it's taken care of. That's it. There's so many good benefits that you wouldn't even really be able to fathom. But
No, and like I said, I mean, I can't say it enough. I mean, for $35 a year, I mean,
Yeah,
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 yeah, absolutely.
without a doubt,
Yeah.
without a doubt. So, all right, Rod, did you see anything else? I know there's a couple of non-questions going on in the comments right now, but if anybody's got any questions right now, it's time to ask them. We are going to start wrapping up. Brian, why don't we start with this? Why don't we start rolling into the social media? Let everybody know, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anything. Let's make sure we get it out there, and then when we post this, we'll link it up as well.
yeah, I mean, for the most part, anytime you type in the United Bowhunters New Jersey, you're going to find us. Instagram, Facebook. We do have a YouTube page. I do a lot of the video, so you get to see some cool, like, well put together, slow motion stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's super fun. Anywhere you can find, anywhere you type in United Bowhunters, our website, ubnj.org. You can get on there. You can get the membership right through the website. There's no, mailing in checks, any of that stuff
Okay.
anymore. We've really upgraded that whole thing. And then once these, the membership deer management programs get going, they'll be able to, go through that, find one that's in your area, and be able to apply there.
And you'll be able to access more of the insurance info through the website. There was one last question that came in.
Yeah. So, like I said, the website's being upgraded now. That is
Okay.
going to be one of our things. Once you become a member, we send you all that
Okay.
information. If you once you ask for it, some people don't need the insurance. So, to save us time, again, this is a complete volunteered organization.
Right.
So we're all trying to be mindful of everybody's time. So if somebody doesn't need insurance, it kind of saves us, that little bit of having to, get one out to somebody that doesn't need it anyway. So if you need it, just reach out. We do our best to try to get back to you as soon as possible. We'll send out the information to you immediately.
Yeah. I mean, I'll speak for Chris, and I think Rob would agree. Anything you guys need from the company standpoint, we would love to be a platform for that.
Yeah.
You just simply spreading the word. If you guys have any events coming up, please keep us in the loop. We can help post anything you need. We're in full support of what you guys got going on. It's got a good thing going.
Yeah. I mean, one other thing I wanted to touch on too, and it kind of, because when we were talking about all the youth stuff, we do also sponsor a S3DA shoot. Or
I was actually going to ask you
S3DA
about
team.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
the S3DA program is amazing. It's scholastic 3-discipline archery, and it covers everything. These kids come in, they can hunt with anything: stick bow, a recurve, all the way out to like full open setups with the big stabilizers, hunting rigs. And then they get put into classes that way. Our coach Rick has, brought our team where, most of them have medaled, if not finished first. So he's a great coach, and they're in great hands. They practice, as much as they can weekly. They get out to all of these different shoots all over the state, even neighboring states. So
Good stuff, man. Let's end it with this. I'm going to end it with one question for you. Give me a mid to long term goal for UBNJ.
I mean, long term, I feel, and I believe John would kind of echo, is we're here to stay. We are here to, if there's a threat against bow hunting or hunting in general, we are there. We are your voice. We are the ones that are gonna go to Trenton. We're gonna, back whatever we can. If there's lawsuits against, the bear hunt, we helped fund that. We are here to be your voice, to be that arm, and really try to keep this heritage that we call, this tradition alive here, especially in New Jersey, but anywhere in the country.
I like that. That was a solid. We'll stick it to him right at the end. Here we go. I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Program manager Rob, you got anything, buddy, before we wrap it up?
God, what else? Brian, it's so great to have you on. You are such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to any of this stuff. It's nice to see, and social media, I always say it's a blessing and a curse in ways, but I swear the people that have been able to be brought together, I feel like we are all cut from the same cloth. We're all different lives coming from different places, but at the end of the day, you know, it's it's so great to see, and it really is. I swear, hunting that does it. You know, it's the outdoors. It's
Yeah.
you know, getting back to our roots that really, you know, keeps us grounded.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really it's special.
Yeah.
You know, you really don't. I don't think you see it really anywhere else. You know,
No,
but
And
I agree. I
there was
mean,
genuine interest tonight. I don't know if you saw, Brian. There was a lot of good questions, you know, a lot of
yeah,
good positive engagement. So I definitely think, without a doubt, you know, you guys are going to pick up a few members from this, and this is just the start. You know, the
yeah,
more we really work together and start promoting it, you know, any way we can help. Like I said,
absolutely,
I'm all for it because we need it. We need as many people as we can in our corner, but again, doing it the right way, sending the right message.
yeah,
yeah,
It's tactics. This is a different
yeah,
style of hunting, or
hmm
however you want to call it. You know, we got to be tactful. So,
yeah.
all right, gentlemen, Brian, is there anything else you want to wrap up with, or are you good to go?
No, guys. I mean, it's been an absolute
All right,
pleasure. I had a ball doing this, and yeah. I mean, let me come on again.
absolutely,
Let's do this again,
absolutely,
man.
yeah,
no, absolutely,
absolutely.
yeah,
This will be like a revolving thing, without a doubt, a
Yeah,
couple times through the season.
absolutely.
yeah,
So.
for it.
All right, so we're near the end of the show here. We try and keep them to about an hour or so. We're coming up on that time now. The Pursuit Live giveaway. It's a charity raffle. I'm sure you guys have seen the post about it. This is the one we started at the Empire Show. We still got to sell some tickets. We have to sell 500 total tickets in order for us to close it out. The main package is the Matthews Lift flagship bow. What size was that, Rob? Was it 29 inch?
29, 29.
29 inch. The way it sits right now, it's for a righty. If you're a lefty and you win, not a problem. We can get it fully swapped out. But it's not just the bow. That bow, it's the bow, all the accessories, pretty much ready to shoot. All you need is a D loop and a peep sight. There's a target in there, a pop-up blind, arrows. So, in all said and done, it's about $3,000 worth of gear, and the tickets are $20 a piece. Anybody that's interested, send a message over to Chris at Only Bows. He'll take care of you. But keep in mind, this is a charity raffle. All the proceeds go to America Bear Foundation, Wounded Warrior in Action, and the NYPD archery team. So it's all going to three great foundations. This is going to be our first charity raffle. That's a good step. I mean, for us, what we're trying to do here, we're trying to elevate us, you know, to the next platform. So we're very happy to be able to do this. Shout out to Targeteers, B&B Archery. They helped us out with the gear. So it's a good raffle. If you guys could spare $20 on a ticket, you got a good chance, you know. So I think it's worth it. Other than that, we don't have any news right now. That we're potentially going to another event upstate New York. Hang tight on that. The team, we have to confirm whether or not we're going. We want to go, so let's hang tight for that. And I think that's it. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Without a doubt, you guys are welcome anytime. Rob, we broke the ice tonight for you, an official co-host, so you did good.
Thank you, thank
So
you. It was fun.
we're gonna be, you guys will be seeing a lot more. Rob, he's a big part of the team. He helps us out. He runs all of our scheduling. So if anybody had a question, oh, how do I get on? How do I join? Either reach out to myself at Urban Pursuit, Chris at Only Bows, or Rob at Mountain Man, and we'll get you guys on. So another great episode. Tune in next Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll catch you guys later on. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.